Can you guys hear me? Just checking audio is good. Please let me know. I'm a professional at this now. What up? Wow, there's so many people here. Yes, Roka, I can see your screen. Oh my gosh. This is insane. I think we're at, oh my gosh, we're at over 2,000 people. That's insane. You guys are crazy. Okay, all right, we're live. Here we are. What up, fam? Oh my god, so many comments. So, it's been a little while since we did this. I think since we last did it, we probably gained 30 to 40,000 users. So pretty exciting to see so many people here. My end, it says about 2,000 people, which is crazy, but usually it builds over time. So welcome if you are new. Oh, it looks like I do freeze, but you're probably going to get used to the fact that the internet in Australia is shit. So I'm probably going to cut out a couple of times. I apologize for that. I do have a couple of topics. I've got my trusty steed over here. It's a whiteboard. All right. Now that you guys have seen that, I do have a couple of things that I do want to go over with you guys first. And then we'll get into the Q&A a little bit later. So I will see your questions, but I probably won't answer them because I think most of the topics that I'm going to go over are going to answer your questions. I am recording this, by the way. The last time I did this, it didn't get recorded. So if you watched it live, happy days, you saw it. But since Pega Insider 3, it's been a damn long time. So I think we just launched around Pega Insider 3 or something. So it's been a while, but this one is recording, I believe. Fingers crossed. I'm not an expert at this. I'm running it myself. But am I lagging? I saw someone say that I was lagging. Just let me know. But thank you guys so much for being here. We're at 2,600. Insane how much we've grown. I remember the first time we did this, we had like a couple of hundred people. It was crazy, but blessed to have you guys here. Thank you so much. Okay, no lag. Awesome. Thank you guys. Okay, so there's a lot of things to touch base. I know most of you guys are gonna have questions about the game, the development, of course, and the token prices, all that type of stuff. We're gonna go basically through all of it, and I want to start at a few key things, which really will answer, I think, a majority of the questions. So the first one is the Valentine's event. So from our perspective as a team, this was a big experiment and a tester to see how something like this would go. And from our perspective, it was a massive success. It did what we intended. It was to burn as many tokens as possible and then generate kind of a new rarity type of Pega, and also see what would happen with the tickets. Now, a lot of people thought that I guess the intentions were something else. I'm not too sure what they thought the goal was with the Valentine's event, but to be completely honest with you guys, it was literally just to burn as many tokens as possible. We burnt something like 47 million, which is a lot. I think it was around 6 to 7 million US dollars worth of Viz, which is insane and a massive success. So yeah, I think something that's very, very important. Yeah, okay, this is where I was going with it. So this is something that's very, very important, is that people felt that the market shifted around that time, and that was also the intent. What we wanted to do is get people out of the norm. We wanted to break a cycle, and what we saw was that exact thing happen. As we were coming closer to the Valentine's event, everybody started thinking, when everybody knows something is happening, but they don't know what everyone else is doing, they start to do weird movements. Everybody start to mint a bunch of VIS in preparation for getting their tickets. People started to sell. For the past 2 weeks before that, people were buying and accumulating VIS, assuming that it was going to pump or something like that. I don't know. But there was a lot of weird actions happening, and that's kind of what we wanted to spark. We wanted to make it crazy. We wanted to make it different. We wanted to kind of put a spanner in the works and make you guys put you out of your rhythm. And I think that was really, really effective. Now, you're seeing the market effects of people minting excess VIS. Of course, the price is going to go down when people have excess VIS. Maybe they weren't able to get the tickets that they wanted, or they minted it in fear of something else. Who knows? Or that was just their plan all along. Of course, it was around the 15th day cycle that most people are used to as well. So it kind of just worked hand in hand, and I guess most people probably would have assumed it, but some didn't. Now, again, like I said, the result of it was the price going down. I think we got a little bit too excited, thinking that a 20 cent, 15 to 20 cent token is normal, an earning token. That is not normal. And you guys really need to be grateful for literally where we are right now. It's really, really important for you. Of course, this is an open market and there's going to be losers. The losers just so happen to be the ones that bought at the top. They're always going to complain, and I guess if they don't want to take accountability for that, it's going to turn into FUD, which you guys experience. That's just the reality. That's what happens. We can't stop it. There's losers and winners in the open market. And as there's big movements on the upside, there's also big movements on the downside. There's winners and losers on both sides, again, like I said. So what I would recommend to you guys when you're interacting with people in the community who are not happy, please be considerate of their perspective. You know, they may have lost money in this price movement, which is totally understandable. Of course, you wouldn't be happy about it. And people get fearful when price goes down, but obviously they get elated and stuck in cloud nine when the price goes up. Both sides make you make generally bad decisions. So be understanding of where they're coming from and attempt to educate them on how the free market works. That there's going to be upwards movements and downward movement. One bad trade, unless you put your damn house on it, doesn't mean the end of the world. And it's important for you guys to acknowledge that, and hopefully you can assist the community as well, because not everyone is as experienced as you. So where was I leading with that? So yes, again, the current price and the feelings. So us as a team, how we're feeling about the current price and where it is at the moment. Again, we don't really have an opinion because you guys decide it. Where we stand with something like this is we need to ship our product independent of everything. And we need to innovate, and we need to create systems that work. We need to create loops that work, which are sustainable for the long term. What the price is now is a little bit irrelevant to whether we ship a product or not, because we already had the intentions to ship the product. So us as the team, we really stay external to, I guess, the markets. I forget the word, but it's kind of like we remove ourselves from that emotion. It's difficult, of course, and your guys, I guess how you speak about it definitely does affect us, and we do see it. However, that's kind of the reason that we do something like this, to give you guys an insight into our personal perspective of how we view the market. So again, for us internally, up market means ship products, down market means ship products. That's just the reality. By ship products, I mean release and build. That's just the reality. So yeah, hopefully that's clear enough for you guys. And I think another topic that did come from this, which is a good discussion to have, is how thin the liquidity pools are. Now, when we talk about liquidity pools, if you're new to it, essentially what that means is that you will put some tokens into a pool, which will make the movements of the markets, I guess, dampened. Or if someone sells $100,000 worth of Viz, the impact will be less if there's more in a liquidity pool. I guess that's the easiest way for me to explain it to you. Hopefully that makes sense. So the more liquidity that we have in those pools, the less up and down price swings we will have in the short term. Now, the benefits in those pools of the VIS pool is generally sits around 500% to 1,000% APY, which means if you put in, you will generally estimate around that's how much benefit you will have, 500 to 1,000% gains over a 12-month period, which is insane, and not something that you see really in the real world at all. However, that's still not enough incentive for most people to insert liquidity into these pools. Now, we've had a lot of conversations about how to do it. We can do liquidity mining programs, all that type of stuff where incentivize you even more to put liquidity in. But I think the reality comes down to people not actually knowing that it exists, and on our behalf, not educating people well enough. And that's something that we have to commit to over the next couple of months, is really learning to educate this and put it into layman's terms. But for those who are experienced, as you know, there is risk involved. So with supplying liquidity to the LP, so it's a difficult situation for us because we want obviously that to grow. However, we don't want to ask people to take excessive risk. Anyway, I'm sure you can see our dilemma here, which is totally understandable. We've got other plans, of course, where we want to, I guess, for example, with the Valentine's program, the Valentine's event, instead of burning those VIS, we could insert that into the LP instead. Hopefully I'm not lagging too much. Sorry, I'm watching the Twitch stream over here, and it looked like it was lagging a bit. But the Valentine's event, we take the 40 million Viz and we put that into the LP as well. However, we just need to provide also the USDT side to be able to balance that. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. It's not a simple situation, and from the gaming perspective, the swings aren't all that bad. Stability is cool, but with big upswings and downswings, really puts a spanner in the works for you guys as well, and makes the markets a little bit crazy. But we would prefer the markets to swing on speculation, not a fundamental issue, and that comes back to us. So we will, of course, always try to ship products which solve the fundamental issues. However, when there's swings based on speculation and your guys' planning, I think that actually makes it fun. It gamifies the game for you managers and you owners. So again, I don't know how big we would do a liquidity pool. It's obviously going to grow organically over time anyway, but probably not going to keep up with user growth. So we need to fix those fundamentals first and leave the price swings to you guys, not because there's a flaw inside the game. Hopefully that clears it up for you guys. Address Shield Bill. I like Shield Bill. I mean, he's entitled to his opinion, of course, and he's generally right all the time. So, yeah, really nothing else to say. Shield Bill is awesome. He's been a massive contributor to the Pegaxy ecosystem, and I definitely trust his opinions for sure. So I want to switch it up. Hopefully that's addressed kind of the main things that you guys were asking, probably what we've seen on Twitter and Telegram in the DGen price discussion groups as well. Hopefully that covers it okay. If you missed what I said earlier, it is recorded. I think I'm recording it. So what I'm going to switch it up to, guys, is some of the things that we're working on at the moment, and I'm going to explain them in depth, plus how our development cycles work, and then some of the short-term things that we're going to be doing, which this includes something that you guys are familiar with, which is the baby racing cooldown switch, which we're going to dub the flippening. So that will come. I will touch on that a little bit later. We also have 3 others that we're just theorizing. They're definitely not a guaranteed going to happen. We still need to do a lot more data. And I'm going to tell you the process of how we are going to release this stuff to make sure that you guys do have input. We're not just going to drop this shit on your head and be like, deal with it. So yes, this is basically, I'm just going to go through it now. There's 2 here which are not something that's going to be really short term and doesn't really have an economic impact. These are products that we are going to ship. The first one is called Themis, Themis. It'll make a lot more sense if you just Google who is Themis. You'll see it's the Greek god of law and good counsel. Essentially, this platform is the beginning of Pegaxy governance. So PGX is going to have utility. It's true utility. You guys are going to be able to submit proposals. We need to build this platform to make sure it is robust. We're going to be using something similar to the quadratic formula. If a lot of you guys are familiar, I believe that was recommended to me by one of the guys in Axie chat, so I appreciate that. We've done a bit of research. We want to add some stuff onto the quadratic formula, which will involve some assets as well. So for you guys who are familiar with it, yes, I think even Alluvium does take that route, which has proven to be a very, very good route to take. But it's important to note that, I guess, governance in this sense, it's super early. What this is basically the start to train people to get used to making proposals, suggesting ideas, voting up, voting down, and using this platform to hopefully make even bigger decisions in the future. We will also be using this platform to voice our personal proposals to you guys, so that we can find out your position and your opinion on a proposal that we make. Now, each proposal is going to have clear structure, and essentially each proposal, everything should be structured almost identical. There's going to be key elements that you need to identify, loopholes, all this other type of stuff. So everybody's should be fairly similar, I guess you could say. So it's going to be very easy for you guys to understand a proposal. There's not going to be just a whole bunch of bullshit everywhere, which we don't want. So this platform is being built now, as we speak. There's people spamming in the chat, which is annoying. But anyway, they're saying bots in share profit. I don't know why you think we haven't addressed it. We've addressed it like 100 times. It's pretty obvious there's bots in the share profit. I would recommend you go to a guild or just pay the fixed rental. We have already put a proposal out there how we're going to fix and reverse engineer it. So stop spamming, I guess. Anyway, onto the Themis platform again. So that one's being built, as you guys are probably aware. We work in those 6-week cycles. This one we're aiming to ship around the 28th of February, which is the end of the next 6-week cycle. So 28th of February, you're probably going to hopefully be able to use this platform. No guarantees. It's a decent amount of work. We need to formulate, I guess, or create that entire formula and make it work. Plus the entire front end and the back end needs to be put in place. So not a small job, but anyway. So as you guys know, there's going to be Apollo, there's going to be Themis, and there's another project which is really big. This one's enormous, and very ambitious, and I hope that I can explain it to you guys in a simple way that it does make sense, but I think it'll make a lot more sense in the future. This one is called Satellite. So how do I put this easily? What we want to do is enable games to be able to build on top of the Pegaxy IP and give you guys a lot more utility, and the tokens more utility as well. So Pegaxy is and the Polygon chain on the Web3 side basically open source in a sense that anybody can build anything for the Pegaxy NFTs. For example, someone can build a game right now that enables you to use the NFTs that are inside Pegaxy in their game, because it's on the chain. They can see it. They can see everything. So an amazing community member actually approached us with this idea, and he said that he's actually building a game for the Pegaxy ecosystem. So I can't take credit for this idea, absolutely not. I should have his name actually just somewhere. I do want to get this in and give him the credit that he deserves. So his name was Sam. Hopefully I say his last name right. Purifoy. I apologize if I said that wrong. But yes, he is like a PhD at Columbia University. The guy's a genius, and he reached out to me and Roka, and actually just essentially explained the way that this system would work and how he believes that this is the future, and how we could do it on an open source platform. Sam Purify. Roka just messaged me, so hopefully I said that right. Anyway, so essentially what's going to happen is he's going to bring, let's say, actually I'll just make up one. Let's say he's got a robot fighting Tekken game, and it's PvP. You know, you guys have to fight each other. What happens is that he's going to, Roka told me he was lying. I apologize. I don't know. Sorry. let's say you've got, another game. Let's say the game's already built in. It's a tech and PvP fighting game. What happens is that essentially, let's say that you have a Pega in Pegaxy, and you want to go and play this game, which is connected to our ecosystem. What you would need to do is essentially go there and claim an NFT, for example. What claiming does is generate an NFT inside that game, but you can't claim one of those NFTs without owning the original Pegaxy NFT. So what basically becomes is that your Pega are keys to multiple games within the Pegaxy universe. Generally, these games are going to stick to the lore of Pegaxy. You know what I mean? The Pegasus Galaxy, essentially. So the reason that we call it satellite is that you guys will have, I guess, the Pegaxy Galaxy right here in the middle. The Pegasus Galaxy, I should say, right here in the middle. And you're going to have a whole bunch of games that are relevant. You could have 50 different games that are relevant to this core, what we would call, I guess, like a planet. And there's satellites surrounding it, which are all of the different games that you guys have utility to use. So you're playing Pegaxy, of course. You want to build your stable. The game develops into a fully player-controlled thing that involves skill. However, you also have those NFTs inside of another game, which apply to that game with fully different mechanics, requires different skills, have a completely different economy, but also can use the same tokens. So you guys as owners and managers, you can be playing 6 or 7 different games under the same umbrella with full different ecosystems and economies. Everything does attach in some way, and hopefully that I am portraying this vision good enough for you guys. However, the goal here is to provide a lot more utility for you guys and a lot more options, because not everyone loves a horse racing game. That's just the reality here. Well over half of the people that I believe are even in this industry are just here for the money, and that's the reality. So if we can broaden it to where there's potentially 30 different games that you guys can choose from, you can go to each one of these. The Pega is just the key to be able to enter. Once you claim that NFT, there's a completely different ecosystem over there that you can enter that revolves around, again, the Pegaxy or the Pegasus Galaxy lore, the ecosystem, the world. And there's a whole bunch of satellites where Pegaxy is just a single satellite. So that's the idea behind it. And yes, I see someone here says it's the Axie Builders program. I think it's very, very similar. Definitely. I think Axie obviously has a very similar vision. The difference is that the Axie's chain is closed. I'm not too sure how they're going to do it, and I don't know their exact plan. I think the I guess like the spine or the core of it is probably honestly a little bit different how it will function, but the idea is definitely the same. Allow people to leverage off of the IP that has been built and build off of it, but it also gives you guys a lot more utility and ability and freedom to be able to do what you want to do with those NFTs. It just creates so much more value to you guys and a lot more options. And if you think about this, guys, we can't put 300 burning mechanisms into a single game, but let's say we had 50 games, for example, 50 games, and they had, I don't know, however many it is, 3 burning mechanisms each or 5 burning mechanisms each, I don't know, or 10 is 500 burning mechanisms. So let's say there's each one 50 games, each one has 10 burning mechanisms in each. That's 500 burning mechanisms. That's a ridiculous amount. So as you could see, there's a big demand for the VIS token, a lot of syncs as well. But again, this is very early stages. I just wanted to put this out to you guys, so hopefully that you can see the vision of I guess satellite. If you hear that word, that's what we are building now. Again, I have explained this before on a video, how our development cycles work, and I think this is important for you guys to note at this point in time. Essentially, we work in a 6-week cycle. So we put things in blocks of 6 weeks. What happens in those 6 weeks can sometimes change because priorities will change, emergencies happen, all shit breaks loose. It is what it is. But we generally have a fixed 6-week cycle. I released the video that explained this a little bit ago, maybe a month ago or so, at the start of our first 6-week cycle, when we adopted the strategy. The end of our next 6-week cycle is on the 28th. Please keep in mind, whenever we speak about something, at minimum, they're 6 weeks away. That's just how it is. If we need to work quicker, of course, we can release it within, the first 3 weeks of the 6-week cycle. However, it's really, really important that we have structure within our company. Now, I wanted to take another step back and get a little bit more in depth for you guys of how our company is structured. So just to give you a bit of an idea of where the developers are, what they do, and who's working on what, and how we can do so many different things at once. We actually have kind of like 2 separate teams who stick in their own lane. Even on the developer side, on the 3D side, on the graphic design side, they kind of make sure that they stick in their own lane, so there's no crossover, there's no confusion, there's no I need to borrow you, all this type of stuff. It makes sure that there's 2 collaborative yet separate teams, which we have found exceptionally effective. So on the right hand side, which is primarily the Vietnamese team, they will be essentially building everything that you guys see visually within the game. There's a full-time economist over there, there's a full-time data scientist over there as well, who is working on a lot of the core game loops. We've obviously got the lead game designer, a bunch of people over there. I think there's about 30 people over in Vietnam alone, who are building on the core game side, basically everything that's visual, Unity, all of that type of stuff. Then we have a separate team which is global. This is like including the Philippine support staff. We've also got developers in Australia, in the Philippines, in Portugal as well. We've got graphic designers over here. From the Philippines, we've got a 3D team also based over Philippines who do all of the work that you guys see visually on social media and stuff like that. And these guys are also making the profile picture NFTs. So that's kind of how we're able to separate everything. We work together. Obviously, we have a lot of communication going both sides. However, we work separately because we find that it is more effective not crossing over. You just need to make sure that you do have those effective communication lines so that everything works in sync. Now, where was I going with this? Yes, so essentially, the with the 6-week cycle, of course, as you can imagine, basically there's tandem 6-week cycles happening here. The guys on the international side are actually working on things like Apollo, like you guys saw, on Themis, like you guys saw. They're building I guess utilities, tools for you guys externally, kind of like the managers, the owners, and that's how we function. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit more clarity on how it does work. Hopefully that makes a bit more sense. So if we need to take more time on the game because there's some things lacking, then I don't want you to say go and hire, or why don't the 3D team who are making the graphics go and work inside the game. That's just simply not how it works. What we need to do is go and recruit more people for the game side. That's just how we function. So hopefully that's clear for you guys. Now, with that in mind, I guess this is where we get into the short-term band-aids that we plan to implement. I would say if these are going to go ahead, it would be within the next 2 weeks. So this is short-term impact that you guys will experience firsthand if they go ahead very soon. There's 4. Now, I need to make this clear before I go into them. Right now, these are ideas that are being worked out by the 2 data scientists on the Philippine side. So on the international side, I should say, because Clay is from Australia, and then we have... So we've got heaps in Vietnam. I should probably clear this up. So we've got 3 data scientists and 1 economist. So Heap is on the Vietnamese side, and then we have Clayton, obviously in Australia. He's not with me directly. He's in Adelaide, I think. And then we have Neil, who's in the Philippines. So Neil and Clay are on the international team. these boys are the ones who are theorizing and building the models, and will be presenting the data to you guys with these proposals before they go ahead. Just wanted to make that clear. So, the first one is the one that I mentioned earlier that you guys already know, which is the baby racing cooldown switch. Hopefully that's clear enough. I will explain it again. Essentially, right now, Hoz has a 24 hours before the baby can race, and Zahn has 4 days. I think it's 96 hours before the baby can race, and it goes basically 1, 2, 3, 4 days between the four. All 4 of them are going to flip. So Hoz will have a 4-day cooldown before the baby can race. Campona will have a 3-day cooldown before the baby can race. Clin will have a 2-day. Zahn will have a 1-day. That one's likely going to go ahead. We're going to do that anyway, so I can probably confidently say that one's going to happen at some point. We have 3 more, which we are still theorizing, which Neil and Clay will be going through basically right now as we speak. So this one's adult cooldowns. Adult cooldowns are a new cooldown added on top of everything. Right now you have a breeding cooldown, which is for the baby to breed. You have a baby cooldown for the baby to race, and then you have and that's it. That's all you have. And then what we're going to add on is an adult cooldown for the adult to race, which means that after it breeds, it won't be able to race for 4 days. Those 4 days compound. So an example, you have a Hoz, and you're going to breed the Hoz. When you breed that adult, the parent, I should say, what will happen is that a 4-day racing cooldown will be applied, but they can breed again in 24 hours. So what will happen is that when they can breed again in 24 hours, they can breed, but they can't race. They've minus 1 day off the racing, so there's 3 days left. They will then add 4, so there'll be a 7 race delay total, and that's just what's going to happen. We're just looking at what the impact will be of this. However, just expect that to be applied. That this is essentially called an adult racing or a parent racing cooldown, which is applied after the parent breeds. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm just trying to remember it all from the top of my head, so I may screw something up. I apologize. Then we have, this is a big one. So this is definitely novel. Like, we are theorizing this one. I definitely want to make it clear that this is not going to be applied there straight away. The next two are very new. So this one right now, essentially what we may implement, what we're theorizing is that baby Pega will actually be born with variable energy. So what that means is that you'll have 2 parents, you'll breed a new Pega of any bloodline, doesn't matter. What will happen is that they'll be born with anything between 20 and 10 energy. And that's completely random. What amount of energy they have, we don't know. The reason for this is because, I guess to be completely honest with you, we need to ensure that we don't want to directly reduce the amount of rewards earned from a race. What will happen if we reduce the energy? It reduces the potential. It doesn't guarantee how much or if you are going to earn less. There is just the potential there. So of course, you know, with 10 energy, you could perform really well and earn more than someone who has 25 energy, for example, or 20 energy. But there's going to be variables, because what needs to happen in this system, it's going to get far more complex in the future, but what's going to happen in this ecosystem, there is just going to be good and bad Pega. It's not bad, it's more so just less effective. Those numbers between 10 and 20, Clay just messaged me. I just made that up off the top of my head. So I don't know, but you know, it may be between 10 and 20. We'll find out. We're just going to have to write it down and see the impacts of what's going to happen because of this. We will publish those results of our theory to you guys before we do so. I would expect if we are going to move ahead with it or want to move ahead with it, we would get this out to you within the next 7 days, roughly. And this is where Themis really becomes important. As you guys can see, we want to take this route where we theorize ideas and changes, publish it on Themis, and have you guys vote. Hopefully that's getting a little bit more clear of our vision. However, Themis isn't ready, so anyway, this will have to go just us visually looking at what the community is. So again, I don't want to say exactly 7 days. I just saw Joel, Roka say that there is a definite deadline. There's not a deadline. Our goal potentially in the next 7 days that you might see that. And the goal, maybe we will try to get this out if it's going to happen within the next 2 weeks. So hopefully that's clear to you guys. Varying energy count. Anyway, hopefully that's clear. Then the fourth one. This one is interesting, and I think some people probably won't understand it all that much. Understand why we did it all that much, but there is definitely reasoning. A lot of reasoning behind it. So we may increase the amount of players per race from 12 to something like 15. The reason for that is, again, the same situation as the energy situation. We need to indirectly reduce the chances of VIS being minted. What you guys are experiencing right now is an oversupply of VIS. And that's always going to be an issue if there's less burning happening. So what we need to do is create theories and alternate routes to where we don't directly take money out of your pockets or out of the earning mechanism. We just leave it up to chance and averages. And, you might have good days, you might have bad days. So there's the potential that 12 Pega races will go up to something like 15, for example. The chances of earning may go down. However, you still have the chance to earn the same. That's the idea here. So hopefully that's clear to you guys. Again, I want to reiterate, these are just theories. We need to do a lot of math. Clay and Neil need to do a lot of math. And yeah. That's about all I can say. So hopefully that's clear. There's 4 situations there, and if these do go ahead, you guys are going to see them soon. Pretty soon. And these are, I should remind you, are band-aids. This is not the eternal fix. This may not even have that big of an impact. We don't know. We can only theorize. So we have another grand plan happening in the background. Many different things, of course, as you could imagine. On top of satellite, there's so many things happening, but I obviously don't want to go into everything. But hopefully this is clear enough to you guys of some changes that are going to happen. Okay. I have a couple more small things, and then I want to go into the Q&A and get some questions for you guys. So a lot of people are asking about the profile picture NFT release. So I have a little bit of progress here. The team is working on it from the Philippines side. The 3D team is working on it pretty heavily. Here's a small leak. I'm up here. What up? This is them just working with textures and colors. So yeah, there's not too much more that I can say. I did do a bit of a leak on Twitter as well. So hopefully you guys saw that. But the goal with these profile picture NFTs is to, and how they work is to, they will be free. You guys aren't buying it. We're not selling it. We're not burning Viz with this. So these profile picture NFTs are going to founding Pega owners. There's 5,000 founding Pega. There's going to be 5,000 profile picture NFTs. What we're doing right now is the team is designing a whole bunch of features, parts, and stuff like that. You're going to see a little bit of a leak a little bit later on as well of some of the parts that they are adding on. However, we need to create a lot of variables, and basically what we're doing now is like, your 5,000 profile picture event that sells $10 million worth of NFTs in 2 minutes. We're doing it for free because we want to give you guys who have founding Pega value, and we hope that you love them. But every single thing here that you see is literally handmade, full custom 3D. and the team is doing that right now as we speak, on top of everything else. So that's the graphic design team, the Philippines team, not the game team. I want to make that clear. But yes, as you guys can see, they're going to be pretty amazing, and I think the quality is going to be pretty insane as well. So we have some awesome ideas, and I think they look amazing. Okay, hopefully you got a screenshot of that, but it is recorded, so you can go back and look at it. Okay, stadiums. We get a lot of questions about stadiums. A lot. Easiest way to put this right now is there is going to be a major proposal coming out in probably the next 1 to 2 weeks that we want to send out to you guys for your opinion on the potential plan. So, yeah. Look out for the proposal, I guess, is the best thing to say. Again, how we function is that we're not going to drop this on your head. We want to get your guys' opinions and approval. And this is, oh, I'm lagging. Okay, I think I'm back. And yeah, again, like I said, we want to get your guys' approval, and this is where Themis really comes into play. So again, stadiums is difficult because if you apply vertical progression, yet you don't plan beyond that vertical progression, you could just create another problem. So it takes a lot of planning, a lot of consideration to be able to develop it and then even implement it and do it right. So yeah, hopefully that answers your stadium questions. Carla, yes, I recorded. Don't worry, I recorded for sure. It says right there anyway. I don't know how to get it, but anyway, it says it's recording. So that's it with stadiums. I don't have too much to update you guys. They're building the stadiums. The stadiums are 3D. They're always being built by more parts of the 3D team. However, the actual function, how it functions and sustainability model still being worked on. We will have a proposal to you guys as soon as possible. A lot of questions coming through. Okay, I know you're eager for Q&A, so I'll get into it I'll get into it in. I'll only have one more thing here. So, player controlled. This is a very, very big question that we get all the damn time. And the direction of progress. Very difficult for us to do. So I just want to make that clear. We have obviously plenty of ideas of what player controlled can be. To make it not pay to win, exceptionally difficult. So. I want you guys to keep that in mind. I've said it so many times again, but they come when player control does come into play, it will come out in phases. There'll be something very basic. We will build on top of that. We will release a new version. We will add more mechanics. It will come slowly and gradually over time to make sure that we do it correctly. We're not going to drop an entire new fully player controlled game again on your head and then go, deal with it, or there's filled with bugs, people with one certain thing dominate everyone else. We're just not going to do that. So yes, player controlled is difficult. Hopefully you can appreciate that it will take time and how many things we are actually building for you guys. So all right, hopefully that answers a lot of your questions. I know there's probably 1.5 million more questions that I can answer. We've almost literally got 5,000 people here. I can't believe that shit. That's insane. So thank you so much for being part of this. And please, guys, this is your opportunity to ask me. I'm going to try and get as many questions done as possible. I don't have a time limit. I could be here for 3 hours if you want me to be here for 3 hours. Let's answer some questions. Anything, tough questions, easy questions, repetitive questions, let's answer this shit. Let's do it. Mobile app. I see this so much. So mobile app, they are working on it. The goal here is... The internal goal, I'll be honest with you guys, is to have a very early beta release of just the racing. Sometime early March, fingers crossed, we can get there. Everything's looking good with the mobile. So yes, again, we don't want to release something broken or too broken, of course, because it's going to be in beta. So we're likely going again to do the same situation that we did with the desktop 3D beta, where we gradually released it through the rarities of the Pega. Same thing's going to apply. Guess what? You guys with the founding Pega are going to have the first access. That's just the perks that come with having a founding Pega. Why Viz went down in the breeding event. The breeding event didn't affect the price. It just reduced the supply. It had nothing to do with price. So we just reduced the supply. If people are gonna sell, people are gonna sell. The price will go down. How much would a stadium be? We don't have any clear plan on a price. You know, it may cost you killing Pega. Let's just make that clear. So there is a proposal floating around. You may be able to get access to that, but the payment for a stadium may be 500 Pega, and you get X level stadium. So yes, lots of things to consider with that. When is the new game? What I assume you mean like the next satellite or something like that. We don't have an ETA. They're building the game right now for sure, but I don't have any more details than that. So I apologize. I'm trying to grab as many update on Prestige. No update on Prestige, as you guys have seen the proposal there. But like I mentioned, we have those 6-week cycles. We need to consider Prestige carefully. It's dangerous for sure. Does Pegaxy is even though the Alright, I will skip that one. I don't know what that is saying. What are your future plans after Valentine's Day event? What event would we expect? So I guess kind of the whole stream so far has been about our future plans. So maybe you missed that, but go back and watch the replay. For future events, we plan to do them generally frequently, I would say. I don't know how frequent is frequent, so we want to make sure that the event is exploring different avenues and potential, and not doing the same thing over and over and over again. So for now, again, there will be some other events in the future. What they are, I can't really be clear right now. Binance listing, not anytime soon. I think this is a good one. Centralized exchanges. We don't have any intent to go on a centralized exchange for many reasons. The accessibility on Kyber is extremely good. It will even be native on our platform soon, so you won't even need to leave the platform to be able to swap the tokens. It'll all be there for you guys to do in your My Assets section, so that'll be much easier. A centralized exchange, most people ask for it because they want the price to pump. As you guys well know, not interested in that. The price pumping is cool, but I don't know what else it does. Of course, you will make money. Totally makes sense, but I think we want something that's a bit more sustainable than a bit of hype of an exchange listing. So when we will do that is when we I would say, you know, it could happen. I'm not ruling it out. We're just not going out there and reaching out to these tier 1 centralized exchanges intently. If they come to us and it makes sense, we will let you guys know before it does happen. That's for sure. Sir Corey, what happens if someone sells 400k Viz or $1 million at one go? I guess watch the charts. It'll be fun. Just part of the game, I guess. If they want to sell that, they want to sell that. I think there would have been better routes. All right. There's so many questions. I apologize, guys, if I do skip your questions. It's going to be a little bit difficult to get them all. How about a scholar who wants to own a Pega? Is there a way to rent to own in the marketplace? There is a proposal going around. Of course, there is a rent to breed proposal. If you want that, I guess I should probably put a spot for all proposals. However, again, yes, we do have a mechanism that we want to implement, which will allow managers to set up a rent to breed situation, which will put 100% of the earned Viz into burning. Anyway, I don't want to go through that one. It's actually on a YouTube video. I've made a YouTube video about it. If you go see it, it was on the Q&A, and it's in the first 10 minutes. So if you watch the first 10 minutes, you'll know the answer and the exact mechanism of how it works. Does the new energy system also apply to already existing Pegas? We haven't made that, I guess, consideration yet, but it's likely it won't. But again, we need to consider that. We'll see what happens at the time, but it's a little bit dangerous to affect existing assets, I think, personally. When do you expect the Viz pump again? No comment. Crowned Pega, good question. So developing, we want the visuals to look really epic. So I guess just hold on to your Fabled token. When we do it, I think you'll be very, very satisfied. But let's just wait until then. Hey Corey, will the profile picture be given per account or per founding Pega owned? Per founding Pega owned. I want to make that clear. So there's going to be 5,000 variations. It's not going to look like your founding Pega. These are all going to be wild, full 3D models with sick attributes. Yeah, so it'll be random. However, they will look amazing. Okay, let me try and... I'm trying to catch up to the live chat. Again, I apologize, guys. It's going so quick. How about feeder Pega? I mean, we obviously have plans for food. Totally understandable if you've seen that in the white paper. But food is dangerous, so we just really need to implement it correctly. How about we scale energies based on the rarity of the Pega? 25 energies for founding, 20s for legendary, and so on. This is just a random number. Maybe you can start at 30 for the founding and go down. Yeah, it makes sense, I guess, but everyone's breeding paces. So everyone's going to end up with 10 energy, 5 energy, which is a little bit odd. But I mean, it's something that we can explore for sure, or probability, that type of stuff. I think it may take place. Again, this is the type of thing that we need to consider before that we do put out this proposal to all of you guys. Really important that we do consider this. When will the breed and race cooldown switch be affected? So yeah, that's the baby racing switch. Again, I would say within about 2 weeks. Expect it, but you guys will know in advance. What is your marketing plan in the short term? We need more people for now. We are at maximum capacity at all times. So again, people are dying to get in. There's an abundance of scholars. I think there's literally probably about 10,000 people sitting there refreshing the marketplace, trying to get a rental at all times. And I'm not even exaggerating. There's more than enough people waiting to get into the game. What they're waiting for is managers and people to buy the Pega and give it to them. So we don't need to do marketing. How about a jousting minigame? That would be quite cool. Someone can, if someone builds a jousting minigame, they're able to literally bring it to the platform like Satellite, show us the jousting the jousting minigame, sorry, and we can improve it, we will review it, we will do an audit, all of that type of stuff. Then we will endorse it, and you guys will literally be able to play with your Pega in a jousting minigame and potentially earn tokens. That would be amazing. It's like a 1v1 PvP with your Pega. Okay. I don't know, I think that's amazing. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's just an insane thing that's possible with the blockchain. How many Pega do I have? I think like 12, something like that. I don't breed, unfortunately. I just don't have the time. What else? When will we get the official documentation for the API endpoint or Pega lookup? That's funny. Yeah, Joel. When they gonna get the official API endpoints, Joel? You guys can @ Midas Hands in Discord. Just keep pestering daily. Maybe he'll get it done one day. The guy likes to sleep a lot. I don't know. He missed a call today because he was sleeping. He just messaged me and said soon. So we're working on it. We have a lot of plans. Obviously, we want Apollo to be open source as well. So we want Apollo to be open source, so we need everything like that. We need to build the foundation for it. So that's another thing that the boys are working on, Apollo being open source, that you guys who are developing external tools are actually able to bring those tools onto one centralized platform, and everybody's able to benefit from the same platform, and you will be rewarded for building on top of Apollo and building tools on Apollo. So we will implement that again. That's hopefully in the next few months. Joel's having a cry because I shouted him out in a negative way. Anyway, it's totally fine. He'll be fine. What else? What's the utility of the rarity of the Pega? I think I've mentioned 2 now. Only founding Pega people who get the profile picture NFTs, they got first access to the 3D closed beta on the web browser. They get the first access to the 3D closed beta on mobile. Having a founding Pega doesn't mean you earn more money. It gives you real life perks, and the same as it goes down. A Rocket League type minigame, I mean, that would be amazing. Axie Buzz is here. Hi, man. When are you going to DM me for Pegabucks? Let's collab on Pegabucks. Shout out to Axie Buzz, man. That's a really cool way of doing it. So he's kind of like, I guess, fractionalized ownership of a Pega guild or even Pega itself. So I would explore it. I mean, it's quite a cool thing that's enabled through being on Polygon and open in the space. And yeah, totally recommend looking into it if you're interested in some very interesting community development. It's very awesome. Can we do an LP staking program, please? We do have I just want to let you guys know this, actually, on the PGX side, on the PGX liquidity pool, it's likely we will have another one that will come out. So we're just planning it. We want it to be appropriate. We want it to be long-term and quite rewarding for you guys. So we need to plan it well. So just give us some time on that one. On the VIS side, again, I think I already addressed that one. It's not as easy as, it's not a cookie cutter process, I guess. Good question here. Can we have Pega to be bought and sold using VIS? I need to make this clear to you guys. That does nothing. It moves the hands of VIS. I have 5,000 VIS. I'm going to go buy a Pega for 5,000 VIS. I give him 5,000 VIS. I have a Pega. Nothing. There's still 5,000 VIS. It does absolutely nothing. Imposing a tax on that would also not be wise. People would not want to do that. Anyway. Any info on the loot box and gacha system? No. Not from me. I'm not the expert on that, so I would need to get the game designer to do that. Carl is helping me. So ETA on the reverse engineering renting system. So this is a good question. Again, a lot of you guys are like, oh, there's bots in the rental marketplace. Everyone is well aware of that. We're well aware of that, okay? It's almost impossible to prevent. I see another one here, by the way, which is DAU count. I saw today we're at 91,000 daily active users. So the ETA on the reverse engineering rental marketplace, and how does it work? Essentially, there will be no interface for renting. What will happen is that you will need to get verified as a renter. You will need to do KYC, likely. I would say you're going to do KYC to be a verified renter. What will happen is that an owner, say I have a Pega, what I'm going to do is click rent to the public. When I click rent to the public, I will set the percent share, and that'll go into a list which is in order of, you know, this person, maybe the highest ranking scholars who have the best ratings. There'll be a rating system, or the next scholar in line, or the next renter in line, I should say. There will be no interface so that it can't be botted. Renters will be, I guess, given votes by the owners dependent on their performance, you know, all that type of stuff. If they are in communication of some form, they are able to do that as well. So yeah, we will reverse engineer it to make sure that there is no user face and there is no way for it to be botted. However, that just needs to be built. You guys already know there is 6-week building cycles and priorities come first. So right now there's 2 renting functions that work perfectly fine. You guys can buy some PGX and rent a Pega, or you can go to a guild and ask them for one. And that's about it. That's the update on that one. And again, like I said earlier, 91,000 daily active users currently. Do you guys plan to have an actual app, not web-based for PC? I don't know if you mean like an app for PC. I think web is far more accessible, because it doesn't matter which computer you have. You know, you can have a Mac or anything. So I would say likely not. However, I'm not the decision maker on that. Maybe they already do have plans. When are you going to fix the website so it's responsive for mobile? Good question. The reason that's not a focus and doesn't have any man hours going into it is because we're building a mobile app. So we just use that, probably. Hey Corey, selling in-game advertising as continuous burning mechanisms. Again, this is a difficult one. Like, it's a pipe dream, and yeah, I mean, it sounds cool, but how do you guys actually do that? You know, how do you actually do that? That's the question here, you know what I mean? It's like, you give them a billboard, they give us $1 million. We're meant to buy VIS and burn it. Seems like a silly mechanism to me. It would be better if they do something else like buying Pega and killing them. That would make more sense, but just buying VIS literally does nothing. Like a VIS buyback is exceptionally pointless and does nothing. Any utility for the bloodlines? Again, their utility is like the breeding speed and the cooldowns. So hopefully that is clear enough utility for you guys. There will be more as it comes, but yes, again, utility is dependent on its functions, essentially. Can a Pega have a gel blaster on their back with AKA gels? I don't know who that is. Oh my god. That is so funny. Yes, it can. Is it possible that only Pega holders or renters can buy or sell Viz to avoid the whale manipulation? No, that doesn't make sense. How can someone come into the game? You know, like if I don't own a Pega, so I can't buy Viz, how do you expect Viz to have buying pressure? The people who own Pega aren't buying Viz generally. They already generate Viz. So, yeah, I would recommend against that for sure. Why did you just burn the Viz from the Valentine's event instead of putting it into liquidity pool? I mean, saying these things in hindsight after the event has happened is very clear and obvious, but no one recommended that before the event, which is ironic. So, I mean, we burnt $7 million worth of Viz. Even if we did take that Viz and put it into the LP, we would need $7 million in USDT. That means we would need $14 million to add to the liquidity pool. We would have no money left. I don't even know if in the treasury there is enough to be able to sustain that. That's insane. So, I mean, you could put a bit of it in for sure, but we need to be able to pay the staff. Hi Corey, for the first time the mint rate is starting to exceed the burn rate for Viz. Does this concern you at all that this happened so quickly? It's always been ahead, of course. So minting has always been ahead of burning in a broad sense. People's mindset shifts, and not everybody mints their PGX, their VIS. So it's a difficult thing to predict. However, again, I think maybe if you didn't join at the start, if you watch the replay, I did kind of address it at the start. We have 4 changes that we think will try to fix or temporarily band-aid this situation. So again, it's a little bit difficult. Again, we can all say things in hindsight like people do for Axie, like, you know, Axie didn't see this coming, Axie ruined this, but like, honestly, how the shit are they meant to know? You guys can't blame them. You're not in their shoes. And it's the same situation here. Of course, you can have ideas, you can voice the ideas, but the reality is they need to be built. We can't just go like, oh my god, why didn't we do this with stadiums? And just like push stadiums on the keyboard and it exists. Like, it's exceptionally difficult to build. And between the time that you build something, a lot of shit can happen and the economy can have a lot of movement. And in between this time, say this is the solution, this is the the where we are right now. We're moving towards the solution, and something happens in here. People forget about this. This all of a sudden disappears, and when we're down here, they think that we've rug pulled you. I think that's where we are now. But anyway, it's not a rug pull. Hopefully that's clear. Transaction fees and withdrawals fees to be added to the LP directly. Thoughts? Withdrawal fee. I mean, it's difficult, man. Like, I think forcing is risky, for sure. It's an option. We can definitely force people to do it, but if we can create education and make it easy for people to do it and be able to recognize the benefits towards it, I think that's a better route to try and take before trying to force people. So we will attempt that first, and education and understanding takes time. So we're not going to force them next week, that's for sure. Will the reduced energy be the cap for the day, or just that we need to be more active and race several times a day? That's a good question. That's a great thing to consider. Neil, if you heard that, that is a really good question. This is why we speak to you guys. You guys are awesome. Yeah, that is very interesting. Clay is seeing it right now. That is a very cool idea, and a very interesting point that needs to be considered. So, epic. Shout out. I want to screenshot this, and I want to give you something for having such an amazing idea and recognizing that for us. Epic. Exchange Pegas with each other without the need for a middleman. Can you make a function that allows you to exchange Pegas with each other without the need for a middleman? For sure. We want to. That's another proposal I've already written up and sent to the team. Again, you've got the 6-week development blocks. However, this is something that I've actually wanted built before the game launched, and it's not that hard to build. Priorities. That's basically the situation right now. So we understand there is a lot of scams happening. We see it firsthand. Daisy literally stays up all night trying to help you guys. Anyway, we want to build it, and we understand the severity of how many Pegas are actually getting scammed right now. Does Pegaxy Mobile support both Android and iOS? Initially, honestly, it's probably going to be very difficult to get off of, what do they call it? Flight, the same as Axie. I forget what it's called. I have it on my phone. It's like the flight thing. So it's like I think 10,000 users at most on iOS. Android, quite open. So Android, I would, if you want to play it on mobile, I would say test flight. Thank you, Roka. So test flight on iOS, likely it's going to start with that. Android, I would probably buy a cheap Android to be able to participate. They're like $200 maybe, and if that's within your budget, then I would, recommend buying it to be able to experience it. Is there a chance that Pegaxy can be included in the Ronin chain? We're not talking. I know I see this so much. It's so funny. They're like, oh, Pegaxy is having secret talks with the Axie team about this. There's nothing. Hopefully that's not too disappointing for you guys. I apologize, but there's no discussions, I should say. So we're not ruling it out for sure, but Polygon has been very receptive to us, and a lot of people like to complain, but the reality is not much goes wrong. You might get some stuck transactions every now and again, but if that's your biggest worries, then I think we're doing pretty good. So, and we want the chain to be open because of all the plans that we have. So, yeah, no plans for now. And to make our own chain, again, we don't have plans just yet. We would rather focus on shipping the other products. Does the gender affect the future Pegas? No, I don't think so. I don't know. Shout out to Rolling Boy. I see you. Ape in Pegaxy. No, I'm not going to say that. I almost went to jail just then, guys. uh, where are we at? There's too many questions. Okay. Can Pega gain experience and level up the stats to increase win rate and change the RNG, or change the RNG? This is like a vertical progression and leveling up, and that's difficult. You don't want to enter a level 10 that is guaranteed to win against 14 level ones. You know what I mean? So again, you need to be careful when you do something like that. Be any other use? Any plans on PGX tokens? Will there be any other use of it in the near future? We got to remember what it is when we ask for more utility for stuff like PGX. It's a governance token. The utility is to govern the platform. You guys to have the ability, and it has utility already. It's inbreeding. We put it in there to give it a bit of extra utility. However, again, when we build Themis, you guys will have the entire core function of the token. I guess that's the easiest way to put it. Like, that's it. You have the utility. That's what it is. It's a very speculative token, and dangerous to give too much utility, and really pointless as well. Oh, I see. I think that's... I think I know who that is. 2 Timothy 3:4. I think I know who you are. Oh, Jarrett Dot. And then I saw Carla sent me a message as well. She said, when will Pega classes work? Right now, Pega classes don't exist. There is that's something that has changed. So, no updates on that. I'm not going to play piano. I cannot play piano. My beautiful wife can. However, I cannot. I'm too dumb. Could we introduce the zero knowledge proof instead of possible KYC procedure? Zero knowledge proof. I don't know about that one. Would love to be educated on. Maybe I need to do some research. Yeah, I mean KYC on the Scholar side is definitely not final. We're not sure about that. Yeah. We know KYC is a touchy topic for a lot of people. So yeah. Do you have plans for any game except from racing? Satellite. Satellite's going to build you guys 20 different games and utility. We can focus on the flagship game, which is our End Division. What are you planning for scholars to have their own Pega? You guys can save money and get your own Pega. The owners had to do it as well. It's time to shift your mentality to becoming an owner. Stop cashing it out and spending it in real life. Save up and buy a Pega. Where are we? Any chance of adding a Viz betting system for the races? Not on our platform. Very dangerous. If we add betting and we become an online casino and the game gets shut down, what utility does your NFTs have? You have zero utility, so I think we should avoid that. Oh, sorry, I think I froze there. Apologies. Can we buy Pegas piece by piece? Sorry. So those who cannot buy a full Pega can buy one step by step. I guess it's like fractionalized ownership, and it's a little bit difficult. Like, how do we give fractionalized ownership, or I guess lay-by, or something like that, where you can gradually pay it off when it's owned by someone else? And yeah, I mean, it's difficult to do something like that. I mean, it's possible. I just think people want their money now. So I don't think they're going to let people pay it off gradually over time. We'll see. Someone from the team just mentioned, I think it was Matt, just messaged that Kyber is not working. They just actually did an update today to prepare for scale. I think there is some bugs, so do expect a couple bugs on Kyber. I messaged them earlier about it. They did think they fixed the bugs. So if anyone from the team is watching, maybe you can please reach out to Day and let her know that Kyber is not working, and she'll be able to reach out to the Kyber team. Are you doing a skill-based gameplay in Pegaxy? Yes, that is the end goal of the entire game, to be 100% skill-based. And yeah, I mean, all earnings dependent on how skilled you are and how well you know the mechanics. So again, we think the most skilled and yeah, I guess the most skilled players should have the most rewards. I think that's the best way to put it. Not dependent on how much money you have to get the best meta, but the earning mechanism to be equal, benefits external to the earning mechanism, and then skill be the determining factor between how much you earn. Is it possible to put two factor? Dude, I'm sorry for swearing 2 times now when I'm trying to read something. When sending Pegaxy to other users, this is a good one. I think we should put in some more warnings and stuff like that, even on the rental listings as well. I think some people are making mistakes on the fixed rental. So yeah, I think that's something that we should do. That's a great suggestion there. Maybe I'll screenshot this one too. Really cool suggestion. I agree with you guys, and I have seen so many questions about it, so I just want to keep it at the top of my head. Are you planning on to have a different server for every race? I'm not that smart, so I can't really answer that. I don't know. The boys might know better, but I don't think so. I think we have like, I don't know, 250,000 races or something ridiculous. More, literally more per day. It's some obnoxious amount, and it's doing all right. So I don't think we need to. How many daily active users are you targeting before the end of Q1? Good question. We don't really have a set target right now. No matter what our target is, it's kind of out of control, so it will hit an obnoxious amount. So we really need to be careful of going too big. So right now, the goal right now is like suppressing growth, which is a little bit backwards, but that's just what we're doing. Any burning mechanism to implement to come from scholars? I assume you mean like on the scholar side burning. NFTs for scholars, experiences to achieve some participation. Yeah, of course, we definitely have scholar side burning mechanisms. If you go and watch the Q&A that I posted on YouTube, again, I would recommend watching that. I think 2 or 3 of the 4 burning mechanisms involve scholar side burning. Will Valentine's horses have different effects after 1,000 races? That is the goal. Yes, we do plan on developing, I guess, a maturity type thing. As it completes more races, its effects will mature and become more bold and visual. So yeah, that's the plan there. And then that creates even more rarity among those Pega. You're going to have a very mature Pega with 3,000 races and a brand new Pega with both legendary tickets, but they will look different. So I think that's pretty cool. What if rewards for breeding and leveling up the Pega is energy itself? Like baby Pega, 10 energy, and a Pega with 3 breeds has 15 energy, and a 7 has 25 energy. You're thinking along the right lines. I like that. That's funny. However, that's the opposite of death. So we have a bit of a different, similar line, different theory that Neil has come up with. So again, yes, you're definitely on the right line of our thinking process. However, Pega need to gradually degrade, not die, degrade or become less useful over time as they quote unquote age. So we'll have another theory to you guys in the future, a proposal I should say, on that one. If the game is not meant to be pay to win, how would someone who can't afford gear or food compete against someone who can? The benefits would be external to the earning mechanism. So, yeah. And again, that's why we haven't implemented it, because we need to make sure that it isn't. So if we implemented it now with basic ideas, of course, you're going to be versing someone who's just going to smash you every time. So we need to be careful with that, and that's why they don't exist yet. Also, when skill-based Pegaxy arrives, do you expect a skilled player to make substantially more viz than someone who is mediocre? I think that's how the world works. A more skilled person generally gets paid more. Yeah, that's just how a good functioning economy will work. The ones who invest the most time, understand the mechanics, will get paid the most. And that's a good ecosystem to be a part of. Because if you don't want to do well, and you don't want to earn a lot of money, and you don't want to level up, and you don't want to get skilled, then you won't. That's it. Any ways to improve the experience for Trezor users? I personally am a Trezor user. Joining races is very problematic. I guess this just comes along with security, and being fully on chain. I guess 95% on chain. So, yeah. It's difficult. Obviously, the user experience, the user flow with something like this. We need to improve a lot. I must admit, our processes feel clunky. They feel like there's a lot of clicks. Totally agree with you. The team is fully aware. However, we need to make sure that we're not compromising security and enabling exploits for you guys to potentially lose your assets. Right now, everything is dependent on you. We can't move anything without your permission, and that's just how it is. And when you have a Trezor, you require extra permission. Yeah. Will the mobile version be Trezor friendly? We need to test it. Again, we want to figure out a way. I don't know how that's going to work. It's a difficult one. Very difficult, but we'll figure it out. The Pegaxian Chronicles associated with Pegaxy? I would love them to be. They're building some amazing lore. Oh my gosh. So yes, I just got way too busy. I think I reached out to them. I think I even got an email, but their designs, I hope you guys have seen them on Twitter and in socials. Oh my god, it is so good. I don't know who their team is, like who's the artist and stuff, but it is incredible. It's literally like an anime. Jiro, who's our 3D designer, just said I dyed my hair black. Guys never seen me without a hat on or something. Jesus. My hair's been black forever since I was born. What's your plan with Pegas when they come to low stats? What's your plan to do in order for them to have equality in the game? Pegas with good stats, Pegas with a lot of energy, all that type of stuff are just going to be worth more. What good stats does, I don't know. Like with the current game. So it's not so much there's good stats and bad stats. It's more so with the future proposals, with the energy type of stuff. Low energy ones are going to be worth less. People have a lower cost of entry because they would be considered worse than one with high energy. High energy ones obviously going to be worth more because they can earn more. So yeah, I mean, that's just the direction that we want to take it and experiment with. I will sell my Pega if this game goes to fully skill based. Okay. Are you afraid of the lower are you afraid of the level of new Pegas that get into the universe and how fast it accelerates? I assume you mean how many Pega are being born. For sure, it's definitely a worry. So a lot of the updates are going to be addressing that, and a lot of the theories and the proposals that we put out to you guys are going to be involving that, and revolving around trying to solve those issues, because that loop is dangerous, very, very dangerous. You can't have something that produces money forever. Yeah. Pega XY, disease slash old age mechanic. Yes, so that's really what's required. I don't know about disease. Maybe that can be something. I don't know how we would implement that, but old age or aging, Neil has been a very strong advocate of, and I think he has convinced us all that that's just an absolute requirement. No questions, no doubt. Pega need to age, Pega need to degrade, Pega need to voluntarily become worse. How that happens, again, we'll have a proposal to you guys eventually. Likely after Themis is out, so that'll be good. What is your projected lifespan for Pegaxy? I mean, a long time, you would hope. I mean, we want this to be around as long as possible. So obviously years, 5 to 10 years, something like this can exist. What we're trying to build here is literally our theory as a country, or like I mentioned earlier, like a planet. We're trying to build a real life. We're trying to solve some issues that literally haven't been solved in the real world economy. So it's exceptionally difficult, and when you have issues and problems like this, you find exceptionally passionate people. It brings out the best in people, really, because they're trying to solve something that has never been solved before, especially in gaming. And when it applies like this, it's really, really awesome. So I mean, it's difficult to fall out of love of something when you're so passionate about it, and you want to see the solution and see what the solution is. So at least our team is here for the long run, but I know probably 20% of the people here see the token go down and think we're dead. So I don't know how long they're here for. Sorry guys, there's a lot of questions. I imagine an app that you can show me in the Oculus Cast, my Pega in real size. I think that would be sick. That would be amazing. Yeah, totally. I think even our team we have some VR guys on our team, or AR. I think potentially they're similar. I'm not too sure, but we've got AR Pega already. They've played around with quite easy. VR, I'm not too sure. Maybe we'll explore it. I think it's probably just like a side thing that we do for fun. I'm not too sure how we would implement that into the game. Maybe you can be sitting in the stadium, you put your VR headset on, you're sitting in the stadium watching your Pega. That might be pretty cool. Are you going to increase the Viz breeding requirements? Likely we will take an indirect route, like I mentioned earlier. Affecting the reward pool is an easy route to take. Increasing the VIS breeding requirement is an easy route to take, but they have consequences that, if you increase the breeding requirements, people will just stop breeding. And if they stop breeding, it has the opposite effect of burning more. So you really need to consider the impacts of something before you do it. And luckily we had Axie to be able to go before us, and it looked like increasing the breeding price is not the route to go. Can you create an offline use for Viz? I'm not too sure what that means. Apologies. Corey, can you swear in Filipino, please? I am a local. Hopefully I get this right. Mabuhay. Sana all. You're welcome. I'd probably just embarrass myself. Joel actually told me that this is a sentence. Ba 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 ba. So, anyway, if you're not Filipino, I probably look like an idiot. Can Apollo add a daily viz earned? Is that? I thought that was like daily viz earned. I'm pretty sure that's like the main part of the entire Apollo. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not understanding that right. Why not get endorsements and use the money to buy back or purchase LP? Again, a buyback is completely pointless. I mean, we can add it to the LP for sure, but I mean, yeah, there's other routes that I think are far easier and far more appropriate to do that. Educating the users on what the LP is and how to contribute to it and why, I think is a far more effective route. Being able to do it voluntarily than going externally and getting money externally to put it in. I mean, it's a possibility if nothing else does work, but I think we would avoid that. Single staking PGX option, not just yet. A gender change for Viz likely will never happen. I need to be completely honest with you guys. So you guys basically want to change the gender, you want to change the everything about the Pega. If your Pega doesn't come out right, or you get 10 females in a row, which is possible and happens quite often, surprisingly, and it's genuinely random, so that's just luck. But anyway, so the reason we don't do that is because if you guys can do anything with your Pega just with Viz, you will never use the marketplace. We need you to use the marketplace to be able to generate revenue. That's just me being completely honest with you guys. We need money to be able to grow, and then eventually the treasury is going to need money. We're not going to enable you to have the perfect system and not benefit, I guess, the ecosystem as a whole with its runway. So it's likely we will never do that. Good question. Could you make it possible for managers to change the profit share without taking back Pega? Totally. That is something that I have already proposed to the team as well. Something like that will require contract changes. So it's not a small thing, unfortunately. Like that's more work than like 50% of the changes that can happen. So again, that's definitely something that I've heard, and you guys wanting to be able to do mass stuff as well. For convenience, for sure, I think it's essential to be able to change the profit share while it's being rented, or breed while it's being rented. I hear you guys 100%. That's just not easy to build. What is your targeted or optimal VIS price in USD? It's whatever you guys want it to be. It's not on us. I mean, we can introduce the syncs and stuff like that for sure, but at the end of the day, it comes down to demand. If we have the perfect balance and the perfect syncs in the game. So again, we're going to focus on shipping products, shipping changes, and trying to figure out how this economy really does work. And if we get there, then the price is on you guys. I don't know the damn what the price is gonna be. You guys might send it sky high. You guys might keep it low. I legit do not have a clue. And I don't really mind. We need to just ship products. Is it possible to lower the name change Viz amount? Yeah, I think we will do something like this. I'm not too sure, but I think we will change the price of the name change. That's difficult to say. Sometime in the future. just to try and get more users, because the amount of users happening is not too high. But I also think probably most users that come along don't even know it exists. So yeah. Are you planning to add more filters to the marketplace? Yeah. I mean, we want to really have like a full new UI eventually. Obviously, it takes a lot of time to do something like that. So we will begin to add on, more filters. I think we're far better than we were when we first started, but people always want an incredible amount of filters to be able to do 70 different variables and come down to a single Pega out of a market of 15,000 listed. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens, but we definitely want the filters system or the marketplace to be exceptionally easy to use and find the Pega that you want, because we benefit from you guys purchasing Pega on the marketplace. That's just how it is. That's how this Pegaxy, the treasury, us as a studio, makes money. The utility of the Valentine's gift, your Pega is rare. That's the same, I guess, utility as most things within an ecosystem. When they're a very low supply, they are rare. They're desired. I think at one point people didn't care about Christmas axes, but it turns out that was a pretty decent investment. Same with the Japanese axes. Turns out that was a pretty decent investment. People won't care about Valentine's Pega, but I think in the long term, people just go off supply and demand. And when more light comes to it, potentially future utility, there'll be more demand. That's just how it is. Too many good questions. Trying to read them all and find one that's relevant. Is it possible to retain RNG? What is Themis? Yeah. If you sell a founding Pega, is the profile picture attached to the sale? Good question. No, they're independent NFTs. So if you own a founding Pega at the event, you'll get it airdropped to you. If you sell the Pega in, I don't know, 10 days or whatever, 10 years, whatever, you don't lose that profile picture NFT, but you can also transfer or do whatever with that profile picture NFT. I don't know if we'll make it sellable in the marketplace. Maybe we will. I'm not too sure. Some people might want to buy one, I guess. We might attach some utility to it as well. So I mean, maybe that's something we'll explore. But yeah, it's not tied to anything. Please add a 2% tax on the marketplace and use it to burn Viz. We have a 3% tax on the marketplace and we use it to build the game. That's definitely important, and that building that game will create more burning mechanisms. Hey Corey, you mentioned that the Pega will be born with variable energy and that the players will also be increased in races. Win rate would be affected by this. Will we maintain the 20% minimum win rate? That this will change a lot more. So there will be a lot more. I think there's going to be a lot more space between some of the percentages. So that's a great question. We're going to open it up. I guess that's the easiest way. Most people won't sit around 20 or 25%. It might drop down to 15. It might go up to 30%. We're going to open it. And the swings will be the same as well. Maybe the Pega will gradually start to swing towards the other way. That's the goal here. So that we don't want you to kind of sit around one percentage, because then it's easy for you to predict. Yeah, I guess that's the easiest way to put it. That comes down to player experience, actually. which requires more mechanics on the back end. I answered that one. Let me try and catch up to the recent ones. Apologies, I was a bit high. VIS pump. I bought it 9 peso. I mean, that's just what happens if you buy the top. The market doesn't care about you. That's just the reality. Not being harsh to you, that's just what happens. Some people lose, some people win. We need to be careful about who we listen to. These people will complain when they buy at the top. It's because they lost. Like I said at the start, they lost. They will complain. Just get used to it. That's how the whole market works. Again, it doesn't care about you. Are you concerned that you may be pigeonholed in terms of gameplay and minigame expansion since horses can't drive a car or fly? Interesting question. You guys need to remember that the minigames don't require anything to do with horses. An NFT is just numbers. So your NFT could literally be a key that unlocks an NFT in another game, which can be a robot human, can be a bird, like Neil said, can be... It can be a literal car. I don't know. Like, it doesn't need to actually be a horse, which is, as you can now see, how big the vision could be. Yeah, it's quite a cool concept. The NFT isn't a horse. In Pegaxy or I guess Pegaxy the game, it's a horse. But in, I don't know what you would call it, Pegaxy, that was a trash name, I apologize. But Pegaxy, it's a car, if that makes sense. Polka Starter Gaming Guild wants to join Pegaxy. It's open for everyone, anyone can join. I guess I'll make that clear that everyone's on their own. We don't do any deals, we don't do any partnerships. Everyone buys off the marketplace. That's it. That's why most of the guilds are in now. What's your thoughts on raffles like Axie's with Axie release? They did. I don't know what that one means. I apologize. Maybe I missed that one. Clarification on the random energy of the Pegas. Are they existing Pega with 25 energy rescaled randomly? I'm not too sure. I don't want to say yes or no, but I would say probably not. It's difficult to affect existing assets. So not difficult as in code-wise, just difficult for us to justify it, to say that your Pega had 25 energy, now it has 10 sucked in. I don't think that's very nice. Are you planning to attract huge/more investors? If yes, what's your plan for it? I guess what do you classify as an investor? We will be doing another private raise, which is targeting hopefully some of the bigger names in the industry. We want to be able to get them kind of on our team and supporting us, and to be able to work with them as well. And then I guess if you're talking about like new players coming in, if the game is good, they will come. Jiro said buying energy using Viz, I guess, is a difficult balance. You know, if you buy 10 energy for 1,000 Viz and then you go ahead and earn 200 Viz, you're never going to do that again. So I think it would be short-lived. Thoughts on Illuvium and what they're planning to bring to the blockchain gaming industry? I'm so glad they're Aussie. There are so many Aussies in the space. It's so amazing. Like, I don't know. I've never been in a space internationally where there is so many Aussies, and obviously Illuvium is going for some insane level. Like, we're completely opposite directions. Their graphics, their gameplay, everything. They have so many amazing ideas. So, I would say, like, I hope they don't think that we're competing, because I'm pretty sure we're not going after the same market. We have different ideas as well. So, yeah, I mean, if you wanted for sure, a AAA game that's got a stupid amount of money in it that we would find very difficult to compete with, amazing talent as well, obviously. Illuvium is kind of the staple of the industry, for sure, for quality. Guild in-game participation like activities, tournaments, and guild in-game participation like activities. I don't know. We need to be able to identify a guild on chain as well. So and until we can do guild specific stuff, yeah, we need to wait until something is on chain. And I guess, yeah, we'll. There's another message here about a hackathon. We'll figure out something in the future, but this is going to come down to actually probably happening before scheduled on like the roadmap or something like that. It's we're open sourcing a lot of stuff. Again, you're going to have Apollo open source for people to build tools. They will be rewarded on the tools that they build straight away. And there's going to be bounty boards and stuff like that. So, again, this is kind of like, I guess, a hackathon, but not. But anyway, and then the game side of things, there's going to be extremely large incentives in the millions, to build on the Pegaxy ecosystem. So more will be announced about that in the future. How much, and whether we partner with anyone, that will be announced in the future. But I think a lot of the indie game developers and potentially even upcoming play to earn games would consider building on top of it, for sure. It would be worthwhile for them. Why not build a 3D open Pegaxy world where Pegaxians can run around with Pega, do emotes, and talk and communicate and trade metaverse shit? I mean, it's cool to talk about, but that's like, it's going to take us 4 years to build something decent. So, of course, we can build that. Someone on the Pegaxy satellite will probably build it first. But, yeah, I mean, that would be amazing. It's kind of like a open world game. I think that would be cool. Can you make a minimum of 20% cut to scholars? No, we will not touch that one. That's an open free market. Will there be a voice chat in game so we can hear others cheering for their Pegas? That's funny. I don't know. I think there'll be a text chat. Hopefully that goes okay. I don't know about a voice chat. That would be funny. I don't know what would happen. I think there'll be a lot of swearing and serious abuse, so maybe not. When it revolves real money, I think people aren't very nice. How about adding a betting system? There will be no betting on Pegaxy, for sure. Satimo, so GM, the things that you mentioned today, increased races, 15 spots, the variations on energy, and if implemented, should we expect it in the next 6 weeks or longer than that? No, it will be within the next 6 weeks. I would say maybe not the 15 spots in the race if we're going to do that, because it requires like the Unity developers to do the visuals, of course. However, the other stuff, I would say, at least the first two, if we do go ahead with them within 2 weeks. The other two, again, we're still finalizing, so I can't give you an exact timeline, but I personally would hope it's within the next 6 week cycle. Yeah. Let's have gambling, and then we'll have no game. Fun. That's a joke. I apologize. I sound like a douchebag. I don't mean it. How about some in-game emotes? Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I think we should do it, but I think we'll just have an open chat where you can just talk some smack between each other. I think that would be more fun instead of making you guys pay for it. Hey Corey, how about a 1 to 10% chance to get a higher tier Pega for a maximum breeding? There can be other benefits attached to going up to a 7 out of 7, which is interesting. This is something that we were exploring, speaking with Neil about it earlier. So you guys need to be encouraged and have a reason to go up to 7 out of 7 breeds. So there's going to be many different reasons, but I think, likely it won't be like going up, from a pacer to a rare or something like that. That's kind of like wrong. But there will be other benefits that I think will be attractive enough to have you go up there. What are the tools you guys use to build 3D Pega? Jiro, can you send me a message about what programs you use just quickly? I honestly don't know, but he said he's an aspiring developer. I assume 3D designer or something like that. I don't know. If the tools you mean in game, the in-game team use Unity. But for externally, the ones that you see visually on like the marketing and stuff like that, I think is I don't even want to say the word. I'll embarrass myself. Pegaxy on Sandbox. I think that would be awesome. We're on the same chain, so would love to explore something like that. I don't know how. Actually today had an awesome chat with the guys from Legends of Veneri. Chat to them directly, and amazing guys. Really, really like them, both of them. And Jiro said he uses Maya and Blender, if that means anything to you guys. So that's what they're using to build the visuals that you see externally on the marketing and the profile picture NFTs. Anyway, so yeah, I spoke to the Legends of Veneri guys, and maybe we'll be able to set up something there, a bit of a collab or something cool. I don't know, but I think that would be epic to have something cross game for a really cool from a really cool team like them. That's funny. That answers that question. Do you prefer 5% cut to all scholars? My opinion is that it should be below 30%. I mean, that's just off a theory. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. Jiro. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but I mean, that's a theory that we want to test based off of what Shill Bill theorized very early on. So his contribution to that is greatly appreciated. Pega race on a certain location like Pokemon Go. You're speaking to Neil's heart. He's obsessed with Pokemon Go. Totally a weird guy. I'm joking. But I mean, that's very difficult. You know, the budget that Pokemon Go has, the talent that they have, we simply can't compete just yet. So unfortunately, wouldn't be able to do something like that in the short term. Something like that in the future might be cool. Depends on the country that you're in, with the type of stadiums that you see, the people that you verse. I think that'll be quite cool. Neil messaged me. He's offended. How about zero energy can still race but no rewards? This can burn some viz, and 3 different races, like 5 people, 10 people, and 15 people, different rewards. That's interesting, guys. That is interesting to think about. Very interesting. Okay. I like that. That's interesting. So I will send that to the team as well. I screenshotted it. Epic. I'll send that to the team in case they missed it. That is cool. So yeah, Pega being able to race, even if they don't have energy, means they can't earn. But if they get first place, that means the VIS isn't awarded or minted. I don't know why, but I think people would probably still do it. They may still do it. I don't know. But it's something that we should possibly test. Do you have plans for esports in the future? For sure, when it gets competitive. Right now, there's really no point. how can you win an esports tournament with massive prizes if you literally did nothing and it was based on random results? It's like, yeah, it doesn't really make sense. Esports, that would be literally more so gambling, I think. So I think maybe we will avoid that until it's dependent on your guys' skill level. "3D Racing has some pretty nice spots for advertising. Why don't you guys sell this to other companies?" Yeah, I mean, I guess it's definitely possible. For sure. Uh, Not right now, I don't think. There's we have ideas, but if other people own the stadiums, wouldn't it make sense for them to benefit from the advertisements? I don't know. Maybe some people want to brand the stadiums. I don't know. It's difficult because we don't want to own the stadiums. Corey, would it be possible to change the capture system to be more of a fingerprint for acceptance to race? I'm I assume you mean for the renting. We put in the capture system on the renting because people were complaining about bots and told us that the capture system would work when we said it wouldn't, but you insisted, so we put the capture system in there to satisfy you. Now people want us to remove the capture system because, like we said, the bots figure out the capture system. So I don't know what to do. The only solution is to re-engineer, reverse engineer, like I mentioned earlier. What happened to Fable tokens? Will it be used? Yes, that's for Crowned Pega. Nothing's changed for that. We just need to develop Crowned Pega. Is the long-term vision that people will keep on being able to earn money for playing Pegaxy 5 to 10 years from now? What is earning money? I think 5 to 10 years from now, we can't even begin to imagine what this ecosystem will look like. So we can only really make stuff up. Yeah. I mean, 5 to 10 years time, I couldn't even tell you what's going to exist. I can't even tell you what's going to exist definitely in 12 months time. So, yeah, can't really help you there. I apologize. Hey Corey, search filters like win rates, stats, price ranges, marketplace rent to combat bots flooding the market. For sure, we definitely need to add more filters. Totally agree. Paying Viz to enable voice chat sounds fun. If you lose in the race, at least you can trash talk them. Maybe that's cool. I don't know. It's up to you. Maybe we'll do something like that. I think it probably takes a lot of engineering to implement into the game. Maybe we can focus it somewhere else. But I mean, maybe. I don't know. I think it would be pretty fun. But I think people would get bored of it. I don't know. I might be wrong. How does the game make money other than the market 3% fee? That's it. And that's the way that we want to keep it. Yeah, that's the way that we want to keep it. We don't want to sell more NFTs to you guys to earn more money. If we need more money in large sums, we are able to do extra capital raises from VCs who are able to assist us and also provide advisory and assistance as well. So that's the direction we will go if we really need a large sum of money. However, the 3% fee, as you guys have seen from Axie Infinity, if the game does well, their 4.25% is more than sustainable. And the reason we did 3% is because we felt like having $1 billion in a treasury is cool, but most people don't actually know where to utilize it. So we think that we can probably give people more money in their pockets and still produce enough money for us to build. That's the reason that we did lower that fee. What is your timeline to transition to skill-based gameplay? I don't have an estimate for you, unfortunately. Again, like I said, it is very complex to be able to do it properly. So there'll be slow iterations, potentially just a button that will speed you up or slow you down initially. However, moving into the future where it's fully player-controlled Mario Kart mechanics, that takes a long time. How about a cooldown per account in profit sharing to eliminate bots? Eliminate bots don't care about accounts. They don't care about nothing. They will have 50 accounts running at one time. Bots are far more capable than you think. A capture, literally... Anyway. How long do you think Pegaxy will stay? I think not half, some people today thought we were already dead. So I think Pegaxy is going to be here a long time. I don't think the team would put their face all over it and dedicate 100% of their lives and quit all of their jobs and all go full time if we weren't here for the very, very long run. How about changing Pega colors? How about changing Pega colors? Yeah, that will be a food in the future that we will offer. So you'll be able to purchase a piece of food with VIS or something like that where you're able to change the color. However, that's not implemented yet. What did I major in? I majored in getting declined from going to university and going and starting my own company. That's what I majored in. I wanted to be a fighter pilot, but wasn't smart enough. Now you guys know. Hey Corey, a question from HCG regarding the variable energy. How about you take a look at implementing variable energy based on the Pega's breed count? Yeah, I think there's a lot of things to explore with the impacts and how random is random. So yeah, again, we just need to be a little bit careful and theorize a good plan. I think those variables, these become levers. Jiro is an idiot. Distracted me. He's paying me out because I wanted to be a pilot. Anyway, there's different levers when it comes to something like this. So we are able to pull the levers to change what affects that randomness. I think is really important as well in the future. So building more levers for us to use in the future is exceptionally powerful. The more levers we have, the more control to kind of dictate the direction and the speed of growth in the economy. When we don't have any levers, then that's when it's a bit dangerous because it's out of control. Any chance about farm for Viz USDT LP? Likely, I don't want to say no, but it's not as simple as that. You get 500 to 1,000% rewards and people are still not doing it. I think another tiny little bit of rewards is not going to sway them. Education is the important part here. I am currently having a hard time breeding because I have too many male Pegas. Is there any solution for this problem? Sell the male Pegas, buy the female. Good to go. What is the company's mission vision? Good question. Interesting question. I think everyone from the core team will probably have a different mission and personal vision. I guess from my perspective here is that do something that has never been done before, and that's the goal here, and that's kind of where we stand at the moment. When we first started, we did have the benefit of being able to walk in Axie's path and learn from their mistakes, but unfortunately, we're at the point right now where we kind of drift in two different parts and we need to innovate on our own. And it's exciting and scary, but it's exceptionally exciting, and being able to do something that's never been done before and being at the forefront of an emerging industry is something that you can wake up and be excited to be awake and not want to stay asleep for. So yeah, I guess the vision or potentially the end goal is do something that has never been done before at a large scale globally. What will happen if the breeding count reaches its max count? What will happen? What actually happens to it will change in the future. So I couldn't really tell you right now. There'll be many different things that will happen to a Pega with 7 out of 7. Maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll be bad. Maybe that'll be a meta that you guys need to figure out. Energy count depending on rarity, like founding. Summary of the discussion earlier. It is recorded. I know we've been going for so long. I just wanted to get as many questions out. There's still 2,400 people. You guys are insane. Thank you so much for spending it with me. I appreciate it. You guys are the dedicated ones. Will there be a marketplace for swapping Pegas? Yep, we eventually will enable an escrow swapping platform. I think we'll be like one of the first ones ever to build that in a game, which is pretty cool. In a blockchain game, which is pretty cool. So we need to do that. It's just about resources and priority. Can you tell us more about your tweet earlier? Will we be able to create our own Pega? I'll be honest, I just saw it from one of the guys who posted it from the 3D team. Jiro posted it, and I was like, that looks sick. So I posted it with absolutely no idea what it meant. Yeah, so that's the context there. I just wanted you guys to get talking. I think they were going to use it for something else, so I probably ruined it. Sorry, Sai, if you're watching. I did post it before you messaged me. Really? I did. Sorry. I'm going to get in trouble. End the stream. Alright. He wants me to end the stream. Yeah, Jiro said now Sai has no post. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to make you guys wait here forever. So just spam your questions. If you have any last questions, please do ask them, and we can wrap this up. How much Viz will Stadium make? We don't know what the incentive or the earning mechanism for Viz is. Carla is saying, Corey, what? Oh, Triple Crown Guild got Diamond, which is insane. Jesus. Congrats to these guys. That's 2,500 Pega. Hectic. Triple Crown Guild, shout out to you guys. Congratulations. Will the RNG game stay when the skill base is introduced? I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. If we have an obnoxious amount of people wanting to keep the RNG game because they enjoy it, then we will keep it. But the earning mechanics and all that type of stuff, I'm not too sure what'll happen there. How about a custom race to play with your friends? Awesome one. I definitely want to do a private lobby where you guys can compete against each other, but again, that takes development time, resources that we need to do, and not a priority currently, I must admit. Not in the next 6-week cycle. What is the benefit of having a verified guild? Recognition. And we also have a private guild founders chat. That's kind of where I hang out most of the time. I see all of their messages. I just hang out with the guild founders and get their insights and their ideas and how they're feeling. So yeah, there's benefits to that. They can kind of reach out to me whenever they want. I've been a little bit too busy. I apologize to you guys as of late, but I will get back in there. Corey, could Pegas be priced in USDC? USDT will keep bigger money sidelined. You can swap USDC to USDT in a second and then spend it and not have any in your possession within a 1-minute period. I don't think people who want to earn money will like be too worried. If they want to hold USDC, they can do that. They can swap to USDT in 1 second, spend it, now someone else is holding that USDT. Sorry guys, I'm trying to keep my eye on one question right now. Will PGX and VIS be listing on Binance soon? Doubtful. Corey, how would you market the game to a skeptic country like Jamaica, because that's where I'm from, and Web3 and blockchain being fully out there, but literally life and game being fully out here, but literally life and game changing. I guess how we would approach it, we're not going to be able to get any market penetration without the locals adopting it. How we get them to adopt it, I think, just comes from societal conditions. So if they're heavily connected online, if their community is getting involved, if generally on social media people are getting involved, people will generally follow the herd. So it only takes one person to really take the lead. Potentially Axie Infinity will be the one to break through over there. That exposes them. Potentially Pegaxy is the one that breaks through. That exposes them. One thing leads to another. It's a chain effect, but it generally just starts with one person doing it over there. I don't think we would necessarily target any country. We didn't target Brazil, and now we have like almost equal amount of users in Brazil as we do in the Philippines. Okay, I'm going through them. I'll answer 3 more, and then we can wrap it up. Spam your questions if you want to. Don't repeat the same question 1,000 times. Why are the horses in the marketplace too expensive? We don't set the price. People want to sell their Pega, and it clearly sells at that price. So what is too expensive? I mean, it might be too expensive for you, but if it's selling, it's not too expensive for other people. That means it's not too expensive. That means it's the correct price. So it might be too expensive for you now. You can wait for the price to go down or save more money. It's kind of like cars. Why is a Lamborghini so expensive? I don't know. They sell. Are you still accepting applicants for customer service? For sure. This is a great one. We have a lot of job openings, especially if you're Vietnamese and want to work locally with the team in the game. There's a lot of opportunities over there on the Unity side as well, the development side. Please reach out. We would love to work with you on the international team for sure. There's a bunch of opportunities. I mean, front end, back end, full stack developers, 3D team, customer service, absolutely, graphic designers for sure. There's a bunch. If you're, I guess, an aspiring data scientist, even a junior, an economist, doesn't matter what country you're from. We want you part of the team, so please do apply. Even if you think that your skill set is beneficial to us, if you create lore, if you're an artist, apply. We want to work with you. Please do apply. The currency that we deal in now is human talent, and we want as much as possible. Come and join the dream team. Add Indian time in the announcement. Okay, noted. Sai, if you're watching, would be nice to add Indian time to help our Indian community. And final one. Sorry, I got distracted. I forgot. All right, final one. Holy moly. Add UK time as well. Okay, we can try to do that. I'm trying to look for a good one here. Actually, I also have a leak. I want to show you guys. I forgot about that. I apologize. Totally forgot. So after this last question, I'll show you guys a small leak. Maybe I'll just answer any damn question. Interesting thoughts on Pegas to be a 7/7 breed count to be sacrificed to acquire a stadium, meaning that they need to be 7 out of 7 to be sacrificed. Interesting. Yeah, maybe that's something that we do consider, but we just need to consider the consequences as well. Okay, so I'm going to get off the questions. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to show you a small leak. These are what you're going to see now is a bit of everything. A bit of everything on the art side. So there's going to be like profile picture, some heads, some development on Pega as well. So here you go. Oh, wrong one. So down below, Jiro's probably going to kill me for showing this, but down below you've got a new set of wings. What's it for? I don't even know. Over here we have what looks to be something. I don't know. You guys can speculate about it, but it's on a Pega head, which is kind of sick. Possibly the profile picture Pega. Down there we have another head. What it's for, I don't know. And then like over there we have an entire Pega, which is a completely new Pega of some sort. Yeah, I guess you can speculate on what that is as well. What you can look at is the attributes on the Pega and then compare it to the, what's the word? Not the attributes, the like fire, electric, blah blah blah. I'm gonna remove it from the screen now. Hopefully this was good, guys. Thank you so much. We went for almost 2.5 hours. My back is killing me. I've been standing the whole time, but thank you so much. Over 2,000 people staying here the whole time. 2,000 people, man. That is literally insane. I can't believe there's 2,000 people here. We almost maxed at 5,000. Like, what the shit? That is crazy. Thank you so much, guys. If you have any more questions, please do get involved in the Discord. We have team there always 24/7. The customer support is 24/7, literally all hours of the day. Again, like I said, if you want to be part of the team, come and join us. We want you to be part of the team. We're building some sick stuff, amazing stuff. Please don't get attached to the token price. It's not good for your mental health. We're in this for the long term. Please keep that in mind. We're going to keep shipping products up or down. It doesn't matter. Again, guys, just thank you so much for your support. Any questions, please reach out. My back is killing me. I'm getting old. Peace. Bye, guys.